Chen Mo's dad told him to raise his wife from childhood, and he actually believed him. So he spent 18 years acting as his cute neighbor's babysitter and punching bag. On graduation day, the school heartthrob showed up with roses to confess to her. Everyone immediately turned to look at Chen Mo, absolutely loving the drama. They were just waiting for this legendary simp to die of pure embarrassment. But she completely ignored the heartthrob, frowning and yelling at Chen Mo to take her home. Chen Mo froze, the heartthrob froze, and the entire school froze. She tugged on him, demanding he make her some sweet and sour pork ribs right now. Honestly, he was probably wondering if today's ribs should just be extra sour.
Let's go back a bit. Chen Mo's dad is kind of a wild old man.
He warned him he would end up single forever, and Chen Mo actually bought it. So he spent over a decade acting as his neighbor's little crybaby's babysitter and punching bag. On graduation day, the school heartthrob confessed to her with a bunch of roses. Naturally, the crowd turned to look at Chen Mo, absolutely thrilled to watch him squirm. They were all waiting for the school's ultimate simp to face absolute social death. But she completely ignored the guy and frowned at Chen Mo, demanding to go home for food. Chen Mo looked at her demanding face, then glanced at the heartthrob's massive bouquet of roses. He silently wondered if tonight's sweet and sour ribs should just be extra sour instead. The final school bell finally rang. It was like an adrenaline shot to the entire school, breaking 3 years of silence. The quiet campus instantly turned into a chaotic outdoor market. Countless exam papers and study guides were thrown out of the windows like snow.
Everyone was screaming in pure relief, ready to go play games with the boys.
Time to party. Meet our main character, Chen Mo. Right now, he is being squeezed through the crowd like a canned sardine. He does not have any massive graduation goals. He just wants to play video games. And then sleep for days. But his stunning childhood friend, Su Youwei, has other plans.
She tugs on his shirt, refusing to let him leave.
Frowning slightly, she looks just like a sad, helpless little kitten. She complains she is thirsty, and he sighs. He naturally pulls a bottle of water from his backpack and twists it open. He hands it over, teasingly calling her princess as she takes small sips. Her big, watery eyes keep scanning the crowd as if searching for something.
And trust me, every single guy around is staring at her with pure jealousy.
Their glares feel like literal daggers, but Chen Mo is completely used to it. Honestly, you cannot blame them. Su Youwei is just effortlessly drop-dead gorgeous.
She is cute, slightly clumsy, and has skin as pale as fresh milk.
Just by standing there, she is the ultimate dream girl for the entire school.
Meanwhile, poor Chen Mo is just the dark cloud standing next to her, doing chores.
She starts whining that she is hungry, fully expecting him to have snacks ready. He effortlessly pulls her favorite strawberry cake from another pocket. Talk about prepared. She complains about the sun, and he instantly grabs an umbrella. He opens it up, shielding his precious childhood friend from some minor sunlight. This has literally been their dynamic since they were toddlers in diapers. It is all thanks to his chaotic dad, Chen Yu, pointing at the crying baby next door. His dad earnestly told him, "Son, look closely, because that is your future wife. Lock it down early or some pig steals her." Chen Mo actually fell for it. Whenever she cried, he lost his mind. Hungry? He fed her. Bullied? He stepped up. He spent over 10 long years acting as her free nanny and bodyguard. But in the end, the school just called him a massive simp. He was the absolute poster child for terminal simping, and people were constantly placing bets behind his back on him. They constantly bet on when she would finally kick him to the curb, though Chen Mo honestly believed that day would not come until college. But nope, it came way faster. The crowd parted as the school's golden boy showed up. It was the ultimate school heartthrob, Lin Yufan, holding a massive bouquet of red roses and walking straight toward them. The guy was decently handsome, and his family allegedly had a ton of cash. He was good at basketball, and basically every girl in school crushed on him. Supposedly that included Su Youwei herself, at least according to all the juicy rumors floating around the school forums. Oh boy, Chen Mo's heart sank. This guy was clearly about to confess. He instinctively looked over at Su Youwei, only to find her face was completely and utterly blank.
She just slowly paused while drinking her water, but the crowd around them was already completely losing their minds. Whispers erupted. He is actually confessing right after graduation? Stealing his girl right in front of Chen Mo? This is a straight-up public execution. Everyone was laughing and saying, "Look at Chen Mo's face! He raised that beautiful girl for 3 years just to lose her!" Suddenly, every single eyeball locked onto Chen Mo like a spotlight. They were filled with pity, mockery, and that toxic excitement of onlookers who just love seeing drama. He was so secondhand embarrassed for himself that he literally wanted to dig a hole and hide right under the square. Talk about terrible luck! Lin Yufan stopped just 3 meters away. The guy did not even spare him a glance, treating Chen Mo like straight-up air. Instead, he stared deeply at Su Youwei, raising his voice just enough for everyone to hear. He announced, "Youwei, now that exams are over, I can finally say it. I can finally tell you the words I have been keeping locked inside for 3 whole years. I like you. Please be my girlfriend," he said, thrusting the massive bouquet of roses right toward her. The air literally froze. Everyone held their breath, waiting for the climax of this drama. They all wanted to hear her answer, but honestly, most of them just wanted to watch Chen Mo get destroyed. People were fully ready to enjoy his final moment of absolute social death, and someone was even counting down in the back. Chen Mo was fully prepared to pack his bags and run. He was ready to run, but what she did next, nobody saw it coming. It completely broke everyone's brains. She ignored the giant bouquet of roses entirely and slowly looked up at someone else. Staring directly at Chen Mo with those clear eyes, her brow furrowed even tighter than before. Under the completely shocked gazes of the entire student body, she spoke with absolute casual authority. She sounded slightly annoyed and simply called out his name. "Let's go home. I am hungry." Instantly, the entire world went dead silent. A graveyard silence fell over the entire square, and every single face froze in pure shock. They looked like puppets that had been suddenly paused. All the mockers, the haters, and the spectators. Every single spectator stood frozen in absolute disbelief. It was a moment of total, utter shock. Lin Yufan stood frozen, holding his roses in midair like an idiot. The deep, romantic smile on his face was frozen in place, making him look incredibly ridiculous. Lin Yufan's mouth twitches, literally wondering if he's hearing things. But Su Youwei completely ignores him, tugging Chen Mo's shirt instead. She whines out loud, "Chen Mo, did you hear me? I want your sweet and sour ribs." She murmurs for extra sugar and less vinegar. Her voice is sweet, but it hits everyone like a sudden flashbang. It echoes in everyone's ears, and Chen Mo can feel the shift. The crowd's pitying looks instantly switch to a massive "what is happening" face. Honestly, 10,000 wild thoughts are screaming in Chen Mo's head. Like, sister, are you serious right now in front of everyone? Rejecting the school hunk just to ask your friend to cook? That's basically announcing he's her personal butler to the entire school. Talk about social death. His label just changed from sad simp to a full-time personal assistant. Looking at her innocent face, he highly suspects she is petty about a missed strawberry treat this morning. This girl holds a grudge like no other. He clears his throat, trying desperately to break the absolute peak secondhand embarrassment in the air. Chen Mo decides to strike first to save whatever dignity he has left. He calls her out. "Su Youwei, stop messing around. Can't you see Lin Yufan confessing? Why are we talking about dinner? Give the guy some respect." He is violently winking at her to just reject the guy and leave him out of it. Say yes or say no, but stop dragging him into the drama. But of course, she completely misses the hint. Instead, she pouts, looking even more upset. Tears well up instantly as she asks, "Chen Mo, what is your problem? Don't you want to cook for me anymore? Are you tired of me?" Bro, she has mastered the puppy eyes technique to absolute perfection. Since they were kids, whenever she makes that face, he has never won once. At this point, the crowd is losing it. What a plot twist! The school goddess rejects the hot guy just to go home and eat Chen Mo's cooking? People start wondering if Chen Mo is actually the main love interest after all. Others argue he's too average, probably just a glorified chef. Chen Mo's head is spinning, but Lin Yufan is having a much worse time. His face turns purple with rage after getting completely ignored in public. Honestly, this is way worse than a direct rejection, he snaps.
He shoves his ruined bouquet of roses into his friend's hands.
He steps forward, glaring daggers at our boy, Chen Mo, right? He asks with pure rage, "You think you are pretty clever, don't you?" But Chen Mo just shrugs, completely innocent. "Proud of what?" he asks. "I am literally just the cook here." Lin Yufan snarls at him to cut the act, asking who he thinks he is. He calls him a broke sidekick who has no right standing near her, asking if he even has $500 to his name to make her happy. Ah yes, the classic spoiled rich kid speech we all love. It is always about throwing money around, but Chen Mo really does not care. He just grabs Su Youwei's hand and leaves. "Let's go, time for dinner." "Hey, stop right there. Don't waste your time with a fool." At this point, Lin Yufan is completely triggered. He grabs Chen Mo by the shoulder. He is like, "Let me make this crystal clear today. Stay away from Youwei. You do not deserve her." He boasts about giving her the best life with luxury cars and designer bags, and mockingly asks what Chen Mo can offer besides some cheap bowl of pork ribs. This dude is getting so worked up that his spit is almost flying directly onto Chen Mo's face. He screams at Youwei to wake up and stop letting a broke loser trick her. He starts promising her the world, but he does not even get to finish. Because Su Youwei, who usually seems like this soft, fragile little crybaby, does something so wild it literally leaves every single person in the crowd speechless. She lets go of Chen Mo's sleeve and takes a step forward as their jaws drop. She walks straight up to Lin Yufan, slowly raises her hand, and then boom. A massive, satisfying slap echoes right across the plaza. Talk about instant karma. The entire crowd goes dead silent. Honestly, if everyone was just confused a second ago, now they are completely petrified. Even Chen Mo is standing there with his jaw dropped. Like, is this really the same quiet girl? Since when does she actually throw hands? And she just folded the school hunk. Lin Yufan is clutching his cheek. Completely shattered, he just stares at her, unable to process what just happened. His eyes are full of absolute humiliation and shock, while Su Youwei calmly shakes out her slightly reddened hand. All that soft, cute innocence she usually has? Gone. Completely vanished from her face. Instead, she is giving off this cold, savage boss energy that nobody has ever seen before. Her voice is not loud, but the sheer pressure she is radiating is actually crazy. First of all, his name is Chen Mo, not a broke wretch. Second, those pork ribs he cooks are a delicacy that someone like you could never afford in a lifetime. And third, she says this is the absolute best part. She pauses, turns around, and takes a very deep look at Chen Mo, before looking back at Lin Yufan to drop the ultimate truth bomb word by word. Even if you called your grandfather over, nobody has the right to disrespect her boyfriend. Wait, boyfriend? Our boy Chen Mo feels like his brain just got nuked. His mind goes completely blank. I did not see that coming. Like, when did he get promoted from a simp to her official boyfriend? This is wild. If that slap was a massive shockwave to everyone on the campus, then her calling him her boyfriend is a level 18 tsunami crashing down on them. Every single student on the plaza is just standing there, completely lost in the wind. The haters who were waiting to laugh at Chen Mo are now staring with their mouths wide open. Their expressions are priceless, and their pupils are literally shaking in sheer shock. Their brains are totally frozen, and their entire worldview is crumbling right now. Everyone is whispering to each other. Did the school beauty just claim Chen Mo as hers? Bro, what? This plot twist is so sharp it almost broke my neck. No shot. They are all coping, thinking it has to be an April Fool's joke, but it is not. So the guy they mocked for 3 years was actually the ultimate hidden king all along? Talk about a major face slap? They are the real clowns here. Meanwhile, Lin Yufan is completely broken, clutching his burning cheek in disbelief. His eyes are totally lifeless, and his mouth is hanging wide open. He is utterly paralyzed by the double blow of getting slapped and instantly rejected by her. The way this guy looks at our main character, Chen Mo, is pure, unfiltered hatred. It is a mix of complete shock and jealousy. Like, how is this even possible? How does a broke guy get the school goddess?
Honestly, Chen Mo is wondering the same thing.
He looks down at his clothes. Cheap street market stuff, worth less than $30. Then he looks up at the absolutely stunning Su Youwei standing next to him. The contrast is hilarious. It is like a delivery boy accidentally stumbled onto a high-budget romance drama set. Chen Mo quietly tugs Su Youwei's sleeve, whispering to ask if she lost her mind. When did he ever become her boyfriend? Su Youwei just rolls her eyes, basically telling him to shut his mouth. Then she immediately flips the switch back to her Ice Queen persona.
She turns to Lin Yufan, who is still standing there completely frozen in shock.
And she drops the ultimate ultimatum: demand an apology. Lin Yufan acts like he misheard, so she repeats that he must apologize to her boyfriend.
Her tone leaves zero room for argument. Every single word must be apologized for.
Our villain suddenly bursts out laughing, but it sounds completely unhinged. Apologize to him? He asks if she has completely lost her mind. What is this loser even supposed to be, and what can he possibly offer her? He points at Chen Mo, screeching that his father is a massive corporate director. His family has millions in assets, and he drives a BMW. Yet she wants him to apologize to this pathetic excuse of a guy? A broke loser who cannot even afford a cheap scooter. He asks if she is kidding. One quick phone call from him will ruin Chen Mo's entire family. Okay, talk about showing your true colors. He goes from rejected lover to straight-up criminal threat. Students are terrified, backing away quickly. Chen Mo frowns, immediately pulling Su Youwei behind his back.
He has no idea what is wrong with her today, but he cannot just watch a girl get threatened.
Letting someone bully her right in front of him is simply out of the question. Chen Mo tells Lin Yufan to face him directly instead of taking it out on a girl. A classic hero moment. Lin Yufan laughs mockingly, asking Chen Mo what exactly he plans to save her with. Those cheap hands he uses to cook food, he warns them that neither of them is leaving today. The villain demands a proper apology, and his loyal lackeys immediately step up to surround the couple. They look ready to fight, tension spiking to the max.
At this point, Chen Mo is quickly calculating his chances of protecting her and breaking out. He's pretty lean, but he definitely knows how to fight when things get messy.
After all, he spent his entire childhood getting into brawls to protect his loved ones. Surprisingly, Su Youwei is completely calm.
She peeks out from behind his shoulder, looking at the utterly unhinged Lin Yufan.
There is zero fear in her eyes. Instead, she just looks at him with pure pity. Yes, actual pity, as if she is looking at a completely clueless clown. She slowly pulls out her phone, calmly dialing a number, not even hesitating to put it on speaker.
She asks if this is Uncle Wang on the line.
A deep, incredibly respectful voice immediately answers, addressing her as young mistress. She calmly calls her butler, Uncle Wang, to check on some things.
A totally random business called the Lin Group. They basically deal in nothing but cheap construction materials. Her tone is completely deadpan, almost as if she's just discussing the weather. Hearing his own family business named, Lin Yufan completely freezes on the spot. But he just sneers, asking if she is really trying to dig up his family dirt. He brags that it is way too late, but before he can even finish his sentence, Uncle Wang is already back on the line. Talk about terrifyingly fast service. The Lin Group is actually only worth about $80 million in total, the butler reports. They have a massive 60% debt ratio, and their main partner is Tianju Real Estate. Basically, around 70% of their entire annual business comes directly from us. Oh, and their chairman, Lin Zhengguo, was desperately begging to meet her father just last week. The butler tells her he was instantly rejected by the secretaries, and Su Youwei just hums in response. She gives a cold, simple, understood, and immediately hangs up the phone. She casually pockets her phone and locks eyes directly with Lin Yufan. Talk about a massive plot twist. That smugness on Yufan's face completely melts into pure, unadulterated terror and absolute disbelief.
Tianju Real Estate is literally the biggest, most powerful property giant in the city.
One single stomp of their feet could literally shake the city's entire economy. They are an absolute corporate powerhouse that Lin Yufan's father has spent his entire life dreaming of sucking up to. And Su Youwei actually owns it? Yufan's entire voice physically cracks as he stammers out, "Is Tianju really your family's?"
She does not even answer him. She just drops a cold, hard, inescapable fact.
Starting right now, Tianju Real Estate and every single one of its main subsidiaries will permanently terminate all business cooperation with the Lin Group, while Yufan's face instantly drains of all its color as she watches. Her voice remains ice cold as she adds, "Oh, and about your dad's company?" She mentions their massive tax evasion records, promising her legal team will follow up on them very soon. She calmly reminds Lin Yufan that he wanted to run her family out of town. With a mocking smile on her face, she tells him she is going to give him one last choice. He and his dad must get out of this city by 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, or face the consequences. Without another word, she turns her back on him completely. She silently grabs our main character's hand to head home, and this time, absolutely no one dares block their way. The crowd parts like the Red Sea, automatically clearing a wide, easy path for them. Every single eye in the crowd is locked on them, but the mockery and pity are completely gone from their faces. Now there is only sheer awe, fear, and massive curiosity. Our main character just gets dragged along by her, walking mechanically like a totally brain-dead puppet. His brain is completely fried at this point. Tianju Real Estate? Billionaire heiress? What is even happening? He looks down at this tiny girl beside him, who only reaches his shoulder. The little crybaby he raised for 10 years is actually an absolute god-tier boss. I did not see that coming. On the ride home, neither of them speaks a single word. The awkward tension between them is absolutely unreal. He just silently pedals his creaky, beat-up old bicycle slowly through the quiet streets. Behind him, Su Youwei sits sideways on the back seat, habitually holding onto his shirt, just like she always does. They have done this exact same thing every single day for the last 10 years. But today, he feels like the person sitting behind him is definitely not his sweet childhood friend anymore. Instead, it feels like a literal Godzilla disguised as a cute anime girl. He keeps his back stiff as a board and pedals like his life depends on it. He is absolutely terrified this newly revealed hidden boss might get annoyed and make him disappear from the city next, along with his bike. Everything that happened is still playing in slow motion in his head. That image keeps replaying in his head, especially Lin Yufan's final expression. The guy looked absolutely devastated, like his entire world just collapsed. Honestly, his dad is going bankrupt and his lackeys are completely terrified. They quickly carry their soulless leader away and scramble through the crowd. Meanwhile, our boy just stands there, a totally broke, ordinary student. Today, he literally got a taste of that peak main character treatment. But wait, he thinks he's not the male lead, more like the female lead. Or maybe just a sidekick holding on to some gorgeous, powerful legs. While he's daydreaming, Su Youwei suddenly speaks up from the back seat. Our boy gets so startled he almost veers right into the roadside bushes. He nervously asks what she wants, terrified of her power. She softly tells him to slow down because the ride is too bumpy. Just like that, her voice goes back to being super sweet and gentle. It makes him feel like that absolute boss queen from earlier was just an illusion. He immediately slows down, riding smoother than a turtle crawling on flat ground.
After a brief silence, she speaks up again. She asks if he has questions, and honestly, his mind is spinning.
He has enough questions to fill a massive encyclopedia at this point.
Like, is her family not living in the same rundown neighborhood as his? Is her dad not just an ordinary guy who fishes and reads papers all day? Is her mom not a typical housewife obsessed with grocery discounts and dancing? How did she suddenly become a real estate heir? Is this a spy movie? And when exactly did they become a couple? Why was he not informed of this official relationship update? Did his notification get lost in the mail, but he is too scared to ask? He is worried she will give him a cold glare. The type that says you know too much, followed by massive bodyguards appearing. They would pack him in a shipping container and drop him in the ocean. Driven by pure survival instinct, he shakes his head and denies having questions. He says he would never pry, since his only job is being her chef. His only mission is deciding if tonight's sweet and sour ribs need more sugar. He emphasizes the sour part, and Su Youwei giggles behind him. She lightly punches his back, not hard at all.
It feels like a gentle tickle as she calls him a coward. Well, of course he's scared. She ruined a multi-million-dollar company with a single phone call. Even Thanos would show her respect. But then she suddenly whispers an apology. Our boy is stunned and wonders why she's apologizing to him. She explains she did not mean to hide the truth, sounding genuinely guilty.
Her parents wanted her to have a normal childhood and make real friends.
They did not want people befriending her just for her family's wealth. So they stayed low-key, keeping their massive fortune a complete secret. Besides the principal, he is the only one in school who knows. She hums softly behind him, asking if he is mad at her. Her voice is incredibly cautious as our boy quietly lets out a sigh. He wasn't even mad, honestly, just straight up shell-shocked. Imagine raising a pet cat for 10 whole years and suddenly it starts talking to you. Turns out it is actually an alien superhero. Like, who wouldn't be completely lost after that? Seriously, he is not angry. His brain just completely short-circuited. It feels like a dream, but then she asks about the boyfriend situation. She asks that last part in a tiny whisper, like a little mosquito. She asks if he is upset, and our boy just freezes. Honestly, how do you even answer that? Complaining makes him look ungrateful. He basically just bagged a gorgeous girlfriend who also happens to be filthy rich. Talk about hitting the jackpot, but saying he's happy feels wrong too. It is just way too sudden, and his head is spinning. With absolutely zero prep time, the two of them walk home in dead silence. They are door-to-door neighbors in a classic old-school apartment building. He unlocks his door, and Su Youwei naturally slides right in behind him. This is normal. They have been close for over a decade.
She has spent way more time at his place than her own.
Plus, his own deadbeat dad is basically a ghost who is never home. So he is usually alone. He slips on house shoes and heads to the kitchen. He ties on an apron to prep dinner while Su Youwei grabs a tiny stool. She plops down right at the kitchen door, hugging her knees and watching. Her big eyes are locked on him like a stray cat waiting for food. All that fierce female CEO energy from earlier, completely gone. Under her intense gaze, he gets super fidgety and tells her to stop. Seriously, it is putting way too much pressure on him. If he mixes up the salt and sugar, she cannot blame him. But she ignores the joke, asking why he still hasn't answered her question. Specifically, the boyfriend thing. Her cheeks are starting to turn pink. She stammers that if he is uncomfortable, she can go explain everything to Lin Yufan. She will just say she panicked and made it up, her voice trailing off. Her head droops, looking absolutely adorable and completely pitiful. His heart immediately melts, no matter how much money she has now. To him. She is still that helpless crybaby. You cannot just erase 10 years of habit overnight. He blanches the pork ribs, drains them, and heats up the wok. The meat hits the hot oil with a loud sizzle, filling the kitchen with aroma. Stirring the pot, he tries to act casual while bringing up a question. He asks if she would have actually accepted Lin Yufan if she had not spoken up. Her head snaps up instantly, shaking furiously like a rattle as she denies it completely. No way, absolutely not. She insists she does not like him, making him raise an eyebrow. Then what about the school rumor saying she crushed on him for 3 whole years? She quickly explains she just asked that guy to pass the water to him during basketball. Too shy to go over. Her face turns crimson, and suddenly all of his weird jealousy completely vanishes. He knew it. This girl has only ever had eyes for him. He cannot be fooled as the ribs in the pot sizzle to a beautiful golden brown. He quickly drizzles in the cooking wine and some soy sauce. Next comes the sweet and sour sauce, instantly filling the entire room with a mouth-watering aroma. Simmering it on low heat, he turns around to lean against the counter. He looks over at Su Youwei, sitting on a tiny stool, her face flushed red under the warm light. With that nervous yet hopeful look in her eyes, he suddenly finds her pretty adorable. Whether she is his childhood friend or a wealthy heiress, he wipes his hands and walks over. Crouching down right in front of her, he looks directly into her eyes. He asks very seriously, "Listen closely, Su Youwei, because I am only asking this once. Are you actually serious about what you said today?" Su Youwei instantly panics under his gaze. She nervously twiddles her fingers, her eyes darting all over the place.
She just cannot bring herself to look him in the eye.
She stammers for a while without saying anything, her cheeks turning red like a ripe apple.
Even the tips of her ears turn a deep pink, making our MC sigh. This girl is literally a powerhouse out there, so why does she turn into a shy little bird around him? Honestly, what happened to that terrifying energy where she threatened to make entire families disappear?
All right, he gets it. Our MC stands back up.
He heads back to the stove to check his ribs because any longer and they will burn.
I am serious. Her tearful voice suddenly rings out from behind him. Stopping in his tracks, he turns around to see that Su Youwei has stood up. Her eyes are completely red, welling up with a massive pool of tears. Sobbing, she insists that she is totally serious and her feelings did not just start today. She has liked him for a very long time, pouring every ounce of her strength into this confession. After shouting out her true feelings in one breath, the emotional dam finally breaks. Huge tears start streaming down her face like a broken necklace of pearls.
Our MC absolutely hates seeing her cry, and honestly, it has always been like this since childhood.
Whenever she cries, he completely loses all his defenses, so he quickly rushes back over. He frantically wipes away her tears, asking what on earth she's crying for. It is not like he said no, but she complains about his attitude. Sobbing, she accuses him of looking completely annoyed with her. You definitely think I am a liar who was just playing with you, but I am not. He helplessly explains that he was literally just worried the ribs would burn. Are the ribs more important, or am I? She asks, staring with wide, watery eyes. Talk about a classic trap question coming out of absolute nowhere. Looking at her tear-stained face, any final hesitation or doubt in his heart completely vanishes. At this point, what else can he even say? The precious girl he protected for over a decade is basically delivering herself right to his doorstep. If he still hesitates now, he might as well be the biggest fool alive. Reaching out, he gently pinches her adorable little nose. You are the most important, he says, leaning in close and lowering his voice. He whispers so only she can hear, asking if his new girlfriend can please stop crying now. Your boyfriend is low-key heartbroken seeing you like this, which instantly makes Su Youwei freeze. She stares at him in sheer disbelief, wet tears still hanging from her long eyelashes. It takes her a few seconds to finally process what he just said. Pure joy erupts in her eyes, and a deep blush instantly spreads all the way down her neck. Suddenly, she dives right into his arms, wrapping her arms tightly around his waist. She buries her face in his chest, softly murmuring her agreement. With a teary voice full of pure disbelief and joy, she agrees, while he gently pats her back. He finds it pretty funny, joking that her tears would have flooded the apartment if he refused. She snuggles deeper into his chest, acting exactly like a spoiled little kitten. No backing out. Pinky promise. He complains about her being childish, but still hooks his pinky with hers anyway. But just as they are acting out this emotional romance, a strong burning smell wafts from the kitchen. They both freeze, and our boy screams about his precious ribs before sprinting back to the stove. He rips the lid off, and thick black smoke hits him right in the face. The sweet and sour ribs have completely turned into black charcoal. Talk about a major cooking fail. It is completely ruined, and Su Youwei slowly walks over to inspect the absolute disaster. Looking down at this literal dark cuisine, her expression gets pretty complicated. Quiet. Let him grieve. Clutching his chest, the pain of losing his dinner is almost too much to bear. Those were premium ribs he specifically bought for her, costing 30 yuan a pound. Seeing him look so utterly devastated over some ribs, Su Youwei cannot help but burst out laughing. She hugs him from behind, resting her chin on his shoulder and whispering that it is totally fine. Since the food is completely ruined, she suggests they just go out to eat instead. Going out costs money, he grumbles, but she offers to pay, likely with his own cash. That gets him even more annoyed since this girl has been leeching off his lunch money since childhood. Her wallet never holds more than 50 yuan, but she whispers in his ear that she is rich now. She says she can support him now, her warm breath tickling his ear and making his heart skip. Honestly, getting sponsored by a rich sugar mommy does not sound too bad. I would take that deal. Our boy clears his throat, trying hard to maintain his dignity as the head of the house. Who needs you to support me anyway, he says. He is a grown man.
He can easily support both of them, even if he is temporarily a little broke.
Plus, as a future college student, he can easily get a part-time job to pay the bills. But honestly, that might be tough, considering this young lady lives on a totally different level. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Su Youwei sees his panic and quickly teases him, saying he can support her instead.
She quickly calms him down, but insists that she should handle the arrangements for dinner today.
She says it is to celebrate their very first day together as a couple, her big eyes sparkling.
With her looking so hopeful, there is no way our boy can actually say no to her. He agrees, and she literally jumps for joy before telling him to wait while she makes a quick call.
And off she runs to make a call. Meanwhile, he is just staring at his ruined ribs, totally heartbroken over the biggest culinary fail of his life.
It is a total disaster, proving that pretty girls really are a distraction to any chef. Su Youwei finishes her call and runs back, excitedly announcing that a ride is already on the way. Our boy is completely confused. What does she mean by a car, and where are they even going? Why a car? Is the local noodle shop not good enough? She shakes her head with a mysterious smile, promising to take him somewhere incredibly special instead. 10 minutes later, the two of them are standing downstairs waiting on the sidewalk. Suddenly, a massive black Rolls-Royce Phantom, a luxury beast he has only ever seen in movies, pulls up. It glides to a stop right in front of them, its polished body reflecting the streetlights. Under the streetlights of a rundown neighborhood, this luxury ride literally radiates stay-away wealth. All the local elders returning from grocery shopping and neighbors out for walks immediately stop in their tracks. They are all staring and whispering. Then, a driver in a sharp black suit steps out. Wearing white gloves, he respectfully opens the door for the female lead, Su Youwei. He welcomes her in, and Su Youwei casually steps inside like it is nothing. But she looks back and sees our boy frozen in pure shock. Get in! What are you waiting for? Our guy swallows hard. Honestly, his legs are feeling pretty weak right now. His entire outfit is worth maybe $30 total. If he sits in there, will his cheap clothes ruin those custom leather seats? He definitely cannot afford to pay for damages. Ultimately, Su Youwei drags him into this absolute beast of a car. Talk about a major upgrade.
The second the door shuts, all the outside noise is completely cut off.
It is so quiet inside that he can only hear his own breathing and Su Youwei's. Our boy is sitting on the softest leather seat imaginable, completely stiff with tension. He does not even know where to put his hands. This cabin is literally bigger than his bedroom. The floor is covered in a thick wool carpet that feels like walking on actual clouds. There is even a minibar stocked with expensive foreign liquor he cannot even name. And crystal clear glasses to match. Seriously, is this even a car? It feels like a literal mobile palace. Then she asks him what he wants to drink. Su Youwei is totally relaxed, pulling a chilled bottle out of the built-in fridge. She hands him a sparkling water, and he stares at the foreign label in confusion. This water probably costs more than his entire pot of ribs. He tells her it is just dinner. Is all this extra hype really necessary? He mutters under his breath. To celebrate their very first day together, she says it has to be a little official. Su Youwei winks at him, smiling like a cat that just got away with something. Looking at her bright, beautiful smile, his anxiety finally starts to melt away a bit. Oh well, might as well enjoy the ride and experience how the elite live. The ride is incredibly smooth as he watches the city lights flash by outside. But wait, this is definitely not the way to the city center. Where are they going? The Summit Restaurant. Hearing this, our guy literally gasps in disbelief. The Summit Restaurant is the most exclusive spot in the city. Honestly, our boy is not ready. It is a mystery-shrouded venue sitting right on top of the foggy mountain peak. Word on the street is they only serve members with prices starting at 5 digits. A regular guy like him has only ever seen this place in magazines. He teases her, calling her the rich young lady who is showing him the high life. He jokes that she is taking a regular peasant like him to see the real world. She pouts, telling him he is her boyfriend, not a peasant. Su Youwei squeezes his hand playfully, saying that whatever belongs to her is basically his too. That logic is actually flawless. There is absolutely no way he can argue with that. Our boy is being thoroughly spoiled by this high society lifestyle right now. Honestly, though, he is not even mad about it. He is totally enjoying it. The car glides up the winding mountain roads, finally stopping before a brilliantly lit mansion. Built right on the cliffside, the restaurant features massive glass walls on 3 sides. It gives you a perfect view of the skyline. As they pull up, the staff immediately runs over. They show absolute peak luxury service, bowing respectfully as they open the car door. A sharp-looking man who seems to be the main manager steps forward to greet them. A middle-aged man rushes over and bows deeply to Su Youwei. He welcomes her, saying her VIP terrace is completely ready. Su Youwei just nods, naturally linking her arm with our main character. She got the absolute best spot, dragging him along. They walk in under the shocked and curious gazes of the staff. The place is absolutely stunning, pure luxury, but with serious class. Soft piano music fills the air while every guest looks incredibly fancy. Our boy looks down at his cheap clothes. He feels totally out of place, but the manager leads them away. They head to a semi-open terrace with just one exclusive dining table. It has fancy silverware and candles with absolutely no railings on the edge. Instead, there is an infinity pool reflecting the beautiful starry sky. The city lights below make it feel like they are floating in space. Wow, he can't help but gasp. It is literally tailor-made for proposals, and she asks if he likes it.
Su Youwei sits him down, and he honestly admits he loves it.
He wonders about the cost. She shrugs it off. Turns out her mom literally bought her this restaurant for her 18th birthday. Forget he asked. Poverty wins again. Most people get cake, but she gets a top-tier luxury restaurant. The wealth gap is so real. Beautiful dishes that look like actual art pieces are served one by one. Australian Wagyu and premium lobster. Plus caviar, all elite food he has only ever seen on television. He eats super carefully, terrified of making a fool of himself. Seeing how nervous he is, Su Youwei keeps piling food onto his plate.
She tells him to eat up, teasing that his own cooking lacks fat.
Even if it tastes great, he can only laugh bitterly in his mind. He wants to eat luxury food daily too, but his wallet says absolutely not. Suddenly, a loud noise from nearby. Some greasy, arrogant-looking guy is holding a wine glass.
He is hitting on a girl in a gown, acting incredibly creepy.
She looks totally uncomfortable, but is trying not to make a scene. Our boy instantly frowns, absolutely hating this kind of pathetic harassment. Su Youwei notices too, and her beautiful face immediately tightens in disgust. And of course, some creep has to ruin the vibe. The greasy creep accidentally looks over. The moment he spots Su Youwei, his eyes instantly light up. He ditches the other girl entirely, walking straight towards them with his glass. Oh no, trouble is coming. The guy stands right there, completely ignoring our main character. Instead, his disgusting eyes are locked completely on Su Youwei. He asks if she is alone, introducing himself as Zhao Kai, bragging about his family trade business and trying to act smooth. As he reaches out, our boy steps in. All right, so our boy Chen Mo grabs his hand, introducing himself coolly. And with a completely deadpan face, he claims to be her boyfriend. He silently squeezes down with insane power, making Zhao Kai wince in pain and try to pull back. But no shot. Chen Mo's grip is literally like a giant steel vice that he can't escape. Zhao Kai completely panics, furiously demanding to know who the hell he is right now. That's when Su Youwei's cold voice cuts in. You have absolutely zero right to know who he is. She elegantly puts down her knife and fork, gently wiping her mouth before looking up at him. She calmly warns him that she doesn't care about his family and wants him gone right now. Her tone is incredibly quiet, but it is backed by a terrifying pressure that sends chills down your spine. It is straight up elite boss energy, completely freezing the arrogant bully right in his tracks with one look. Trying to save face, the angry bully snaps back and asks if she even knows who he is. He brags that his dad is the powerful Zhao Tianlong, and nobody in the city dares cross him. Hearing that name, Su Youwei just nods calmly, acting like she actually remembers him. Oh, you mean the Zhao Tianlong who literally knelt down in front of my father at a party to beg for that southern land? Zhao Kai's face turns completely pale as he stammers out, demanding to know how she has that info.
Simple, because she owns that land now, she says while casually swirling her expensive red wine with absolute boss energy.
Then she calmly asks if he wants his father's company to become the next ruined Lin Group. The bully's body starts shaking visibly because the news of the massive Lin Group completely collapsing just broke this afternoon. It is already spreading all over the city's business circle that they crossed a mysterious and insanely powerful shadow boss. Someone who literally wiped out a massive, multi-billion-dollar empire with just a single sentence.
And Zhao Kai never in a million years imagined that this terrifying shadow ruler
was actually the innocent-looking and harmless girl sitting right in front of him this whole time. He freezes in shock as massive beads of cold sweat start pouring down his forehead. Su Youwei drops a single cold word, scram, and the terrified bully bolts instantly without looking back. He runs faster than a rabbit, leaving the entire restaurant completely dead silent. Every single customer who watched this crazy drama unfold now stares at them with a mixture of absolute awe and sheer terror. Meanwhile, Chen Mo calmly lets go of the guy's hand and takes a sip of sparkling water. Trying to calm his nerves, but man, that's the sweet taste of wealth. Absolutely wild day. It is literally more chaotic and exciting than his past 18 years of life combined, not gonna lie. Staring at Su Youwei calmly cutting her steak, he has only one thought in mind. If anyone dares to call him a simp ever again, he is throwing hands with them immediately. Like, this is definitely not some standard simp behavior at all. He's literally preparing to become the ultimate son-in-law of a top-tier billionaire family. This is huge. What an absolute roller coaster of a dinner. Now, on the way home, riding inside a luxury Rolls-Royce on the way back, Chen Mo's entire worldview is shifting. Completely gone. He used to think being ultra-rich just meant wearing fancy clothes and eating expensive food. But today, he realized that true elite status means your word is literally absolute law in this world. One single sentence can completely decide the survival of a massive company and an entire family. That kind of absolute power is low-key terrifying and feels completely foreign to him. He sneaks a quiet glance at Su Youwei resting beside him on the leather seats with her eyes closed. She looks kind of exhausted as the soft moonlight washes over her face through the window. Her long eyelashes cast beautiful shadows, making her look like a delicate and fragile porcelain doll in the dark. It is honestly impossible to connect her delicate look to that cold-eyed and overpowered queen from earlier. Chen Mo wonders which version of Su Youwei is real, but maybe she is actually both. Around him, she's just a spoiled crybaby who pouts over everything. She begs him to cook, but to the world, she has to stay strong to survive. As the Su family heiress, she shoulders everything, and honestly thinking about it, it low-key breaks his heart to realize how exhausted she must be after carrying this alone. The car finally pulls up to his familiar apartment building, and they both step out. The driver respectfully asks what time he should pick her up tomorrow morning. Su Youwei waves him off, telling Uncle Wang that she's good for the night. She says she is heading out with Chen Mo tomorrow as the Rolls-Royce silently glides away. It leaves them under the old city sky as the quiet night returns to normal. Dim yellow lights glow from nearby windows, and a dog barks somewhere in the distance. The scent of home-cooked meals fills the air, giving Chen Mo a deep sense of peace. Honestly, that insanely fancy dinner they just had feels like a total dream now. He tells her it is time to head up, and naturally takes her hand. Noticing how cold her fingers are, he gently squeezes a little tighter. She doesn't pull away at all, leaning right into his side instead. Putting all her weight on him, she sleepily mumbles that she is completely exhausted. She lets out a soft yawn, her voice sounding incredibly cute and lazy. He tells her to rest, but she immediately insists on going to his place. Chen Mo asks what she will even do there since he hasn't cooked anything. She just wants to hang out, and honestly, he has no defense against her puppy eyes. So he just lets her have her way, walking upstairs and unlocking his door. Instantly, the warm and familiar scent of his own home greets them. As he slips on his shoes, Su Youwei acts like she owns the place, pulling her pink rabbit slippers from the cabinet and tossing her bag onto the couch.
She collapses right into the cushions like a tired, boneless cat.
She lets out a satisfied sigh, murmuring about how cozy his place is. Chen Mo pours her a glass of water and sits down beside her. He calls her name, and after a lazy reply, he asks how rich her family actually is. He just couldn't resist asking the most basic but burning question on his mind. She opens her eyes, taking a moment to think about it. Then, with a straight face, she says she has absolutely no idea. Her dad never gave her a specific number, saying a girl shouldn't worry about budgets. Knowing how to spend it is enough, she adds with a cute shrug. Apparently, their family wealth is so massive that several lifetimes couldn't drain it. Talk about the ultimate flex. This girl is living in another dimension. Talk about emotional damage. Chen Mo recovers and asks if her parents even know about him. She nods like it is totally obvious, confirming that they definitely do. She says her parents absolutely adore him, which completely catches him off guard. She counts on her fingers, saying they think he has a great personality and temper. He can cook, fight, and take care of her, making him the perfect guardian. But wait, Chen Mo quickly stops her, asking what she means by handing her over. Su Youwei blushes instantly, her eyes darting away in sheer embarrassment. She stammers that it just means exactly what he thinks it means. When he presses her for details, she closes her eyes and decides to just go for it. Basically, their parents set them up with an arranged marriage since they were babies. Boom! That is a straight-up lightning bolt to Chen Mo's brain. Arranged marriage? No shot. Who even does this feudal stuff anymore? He asks, pointing at himself. His tongue is literally tied trying to process this betrothal. Su Youwei nods but quickly panics, telling him not to worry. It was just the parents' idea, so they can ignore it if he hates it. She promises she is absolutely not going to force him into anything. Seeing how tense he is, she looks at him with pure anxiety. Oh, he is shocked all right, but definitely not for the reason she thinks. His mind goes totally blank thinking about his deadbeat dad. The old bastard always told him to lock down a wife early. He was actually telling the truth. He was executing a long-term master plan this entire time. This means his whole life of simping was actually orchestrated by his dad. A child groom training program? Bro, this plot twist is actually crazy. His reality shattered completely. Too much info. Holding his forehead, he gets dizzy and just needs a quiet minute. He asks if his dad knew, and she says of course he did. Apparently their dads got completely wasted at a barbecue stand years ago. They slammed the table and decided it right then, making his vision blur. Classic. He knew his old man had to be behind this mess. His own dad sold him out, and he was happily counting the cash. Su Youwei notices his pale face and asks if he is all right. She gives him a gentle nudge, but he just waves her off. He needs to digest this massive news before calling his dad. He says he wants to pay him a little visit, gritting his teeth. Su Youwei shrinks back in fear as he pulls out his phone. He finds the contact saved as Old Bastard and hits dial. After a long ring, his dad answers with a super lazy voice. Sounds of ocean waves and seagulls play in the background as he answers. He asks how the college exams went, joking about him failing. If he fails, they can just go fishing together to survive. Keeping his voice dead calm, Chen Mo asks if he is in the Maldives. His dad casually replies, asking where else he would possibly be. He is chilling on Uncle Su's private island, catching some sun. After working his whole life, the man just wants to relax. Living the dream. Honestly, his dad has final boss energy. Squeezing the words through his teeth, he asks when he is returning. The dad laughs, saying he trusts him to run the house alone. Finally, Chen Mo asks if he knew about him and Su Youwei. Dead silence on the other end. Suddenly, his dad bursts out laughing, asking if she finally confessed. He praises him, saying he did not disappoint his old man. He is thrilled his son finally scored, leaving Chen Mo speechless with rage. All right, quit acting like you were the victim when you just hit the jackpot. His dad is literally sounding so proud, saying he and Uncle Su already planned everything. The moment they graduate college, the wedding is on and the dowry is secured. 10% shares of Tianju real estate, and if that is not enough, his dad will demand more. Hearing his dad laugh like a villain on the phone, Chen Mo can feel his blood pressure soaring. He hangs up, tosses the phone aside, and slowly turns around. He looks at Su Youwei. She is sitting there looking completely innocent. She blinks her huge eyes, guilty, completely speechless. Honestly, it feels like Chen Mo's entire life was completely rigged from day one.
These two chaotic dads mapped out his whole future without his permission.
Rebuffing them? No shot. He is totally stuck in the palm of this little devil Su Youwei forever. Well, time to accept defeat. Chen Mo looks at Su Youwei and lets out a heavy sigh. He reaches out and she obediently scoots closer to him. He pulls her into a tight hug and tells her to listen up carefully.
No more using that ultimate puppy dog eyes technique on him.
No more keeping secrets either. He leans in, whispering with a fiercely possessive tone.
If she ever lets another guy buy her drinks right in front of him again,
then what? She asks, tilting her head up with pure curiosity. He looks down at her glossy lips, sitting just inches away from him.
His throat tightens. He shows her the answer instead of speaking.
Moonlight creeps through the window, wrapping them in a soft glow. She shivers slightly in his embrace, before slowly closing her eyes. Gentle, like a feather brushing against calm water. But they both know everything changes from this exact moment. Honestly, this romantic payoff is so clean, but the story's not over yet. Now let's jump into the extra chapter about married life and sweet and sour ribs. Fast forward 3 years later, and they are officially husband and wife. The wedding happened 2 years ago, orchestrated by those scheming fathers. They turned it into a massive corporate merger event with over 500 guests. The gift money alone is enough to let him retire comfortably. Turns out his dad was actually Uncle Su's legendary Wall Street partner back then. Too bad Chen Mo never got to enjoy any of that growing up. Honestly, their daily life has not changed all that much. She is still the same adorable crybaby waking him up at 3 a.m., and he is still the whipped husband cooking for her in the dark. It is currently 3:15 a.m., and she suddenly demands sweet and sour ribs. He opens his eyes, only to find her staring at him expectantly. Tomorrow? No way! She wants them right now. He mentions there are no ribs in the fridge, making her pause. Her eyes immediately well up as she calls him a liar. Those are for lunch tomorrow, but she insists on eating them now. Looking at her stubbornly adorable face, Chen Mo can only sigh. He tosses the blanket aside to cook, hearing her victorious giggles behind him.
Our boy ties on his apron to prep some ribs, and she immediately follows, sitting on a tiny stool by the door.
She hugs her knees and stares, looking exactly like she did 18 years ago, before asking, Chen Mo, do you know? Why she loves his sweet and sour ribs so much? He just replies, because they taste good? But she explains it is because the very first time he made them was the night her parents had a huge fight. Her voice softens as she remembers how incredibly sad she was that night. She had run to his place crying, and without asking a single question, he just disappeared into the kitchen. He ended up serving her a completely burnt, pitch-black dish, which suddenly makes him remember that day. That was back in middle school, the literal first time he'd ever tried making sweet and sour ribs on his own. He completely messed up the heat and burnt them, but he still brought that plate over to her. She recalls him standing there looking so silly, telling her to stop crying because he made her something delicious. She giggles, admitting those ribs were actually terrible, super sour and incredibly bitter. Yet she ate every single bite because it was the first time someone had actually cooked just for her. She stares up at him, her eyes shining with affection.
She decided right then to stick with him forever, making him pause his cooking for a second.
He teases that she really clung to him for over a decade, and she proudly brags about her ultimate success. Meanwhile, the ribs in the pot start to sizzle, filling the entire kitchen with a delicious aroma. She sniffs the air, saying it smells amazing as they wait for the next 20 minutes. Finally, Chen Mo serves a steaming hot plate of sweet and sour ribs right onto the table.
She cannot wait to stuff a piece into her mouth, her eyes instantly lighting up with pure joy.
She declares it is delicious while he sits right across from her.
He watches her eat with stuffed cheeks, looking exactly like a cute little hamster.
He tells her to slow down since nobody is stealing them, but after swallowing, she suddenly asks, Chen Mo, what do you think we should name our future kids? That question completely catches him off guard. When he asks why she is bringing this up out of nowhere, she just blinks playfully. She proudly announces she already has it figured out. A boy should be named Chen Tang. And a girl should be named Cheng Tsu? Cheng Tang? Chen Ku? He feels his face twitching in disbelief, asking if she is actually being serious right now. Of course, she says, totally confident that it is the cutest thing ever. Since they are their kids, they obviously have to be named after the ingredients of sweet and sour ribs. He jokes that they might as well name them Chen ribs, and she actually tilts her head to consider it. She seriously starts contemplating, saying Chen ribs actually does not sound half bad. He facepalms, realizing this woman is completely obsessed with these ribs. Outside, the moonlight is perfect, while the cozy room is filled with the sweet scent of food. She keeps chatting away, coming up with the most bizarre names for their future children. Like Chen Sweet and Sour, Chen Pork Loin, or Chen Pork Belly, making him smile as he watches her. Who could have guessed 18 years ago that the little crybaby would end up becoming his wife? Honestly, who would have thought that a single plate of burnt ribs could tie them together for life?
Would tie her down for a lifetime. She catches him staring and asks what he's smiling about.
He says it is nothing, walking over to gently kiss the top of her head. He just whispers that he will gladly cook sweet and sour ribs for her for the rest of his life. She looks up with a beaming smile, telling him he better keep that promise forever. Here is a sweet little post-credit scene for you all. Later on, they actually had a child. It was a beautiful baby girl, and they named her Chen Tong. When the little girl turned 3 years old, she ran up to him one day and asked, "Daddy, Daddy, why is my name Chen Tang?" He just kneels down with a smile. He points to Su Youwei cooking in the kitchen, explaining his daughter Chen Tang was named after her mom's favorite sweet and sour ribs. So why is her baby sister named Chen Ku? Little sister Chen Ku is only 1 year old. As the baby drools in her crib, Chen Mo goes silent for 2 seconds. He whispers that her mom had water in her brain during naming, prompting an angry shout from the kitchen. "Chen Mo!" "I heard that," Su Youwei yells, while little Chen Tong covers her mouth and giggles. Chen Mo scoops up his daughter to make a run for it as Su Youwei chases them down with a spatula. She screams at him to freeze, but he just clutches his daughter and runs even faster. Little Chen Tang laughs hysterically in his arms, cheering for her dad to run faster. She giggles that mom is catching up as they dash under the warm sunset. Now this family of 4 is just messily chasing each other around while the neighbor grandma pokes her head out. She smiles and shakes her head at the lively couple, and honestly, it really is a beautiful mess. It is just the perfect amount of chaos, and that is the wholesome end of this absolute gem.